First up is how to go on dates. Before you start dating, you and your chosen partner will need to be at least 18 years old. You can check for your ages in the characters list. Gender does not matter as long as you are both adults. Then, you will need to increase your friendship points with your chosen partner until they reach at least 2 hearts. Make them fall in love with you by giving them gifts they like and completing their requests. Once you've checked your ages and hearts, you will need to get a Rose of Romance. You can buy one in most good stores, or you can forage in Loverwood at the upper left corner of the area, at the bottom part of the area, and at the lower right corner of the area. Gift the Rose of Romance to your chosen partner and they'll tell you to meet them at their house at a specific time on the next day. Check your task list to see the details of your date. On the next day, go to your chosen partner's house on time to start the date. You'll be asked to bring your date to a few date spots. On the last spot, they'll ask you to give them a gift. And you have successfully finished a date. If you ever get lost, you can always check your task list and set a fatter way. Next is how to get married. Before you get married, you and your chosen partner will need to be at least 18 years old and your chosen partner has 3 hearts. Once you've checked your ages and hearts, you'll need to get a white rose from Loverwood in the middle of the map near the gazebo and the priest NPC. Be reminded that you can only get this on Druida Day, so check your calendar. Gift the white rose to your chosen partner on the first day of the week, which is after Druida Day. Be warned that you can't do this on any other day of the week. You also can't do this during winter since an item you will need for the marriage task does not grow in winter. Once you've given the white rose, a week-long task will begin starting the next day. Check your task list to see more details about your road to marriage. On the first day, you will be tasked to take your partner to visit a place. Have them follow you and they'll tell you where they want to go. Lead them to the correct date spot and your task for the day is done. On the second day, you'll be tasked to pick some charmweed. You can find them growing near brooks and streams in Rivermore, Homesteads, Drown Hill, Festfield, and Loverwood. You will need to pick one for the task to be completed even if you already have some in your inventory. And the task only requires you to pick one, but you'll need 3 of them later. On the third day, you'll be tasked to gather an egg. You can get them from chickens during the morning or you can buy them from the goods store in Mellowbrook. You will need to get a new one for the task to be completed even if you already have some in your inventory. On the 4th day, you'll be tasked to gather some flour. You can buy them from most goods stores. Again, you'll need to get a new one for the task to be completed even if you already have some in your inventory. On the 5th day, you'll be tasked to bake the pie of you and I. You can bake this pie on the stove inside your house using all the ingredients that you gathered. Once you have successfully baked the pie, your task for the day is done. On the last day, you are tasked to give the pie of you and I to the priest in Loverwood. Talk to the priest and he will exchange the pie for a binding band. Now you can deliver the binding band to your future spouse and you will set a date for your wedding. When your special day has come, return to the priest in Loverwood to start the ceremony. I shouldn't need to remind you not to be late for your own wedding. During the ceremony, a few spirits will appear and one of them will randomly be chosen to increase one of your stats. Once everything is done, your spouse will now move into your house. Congratulations on your marriage! But if you decide that you no longer want to be with your spouse, you can choose to get a divorce from the priest in Loverwood for 500 brass. Be warned that if you finalize your divorce, your stat increase from the marriage will be removed and your spouse will disappear from your world. And lastly is how to have children. There are 2 ways to get children. One way is to gift a rabbit corn doll to your spouse. You can buy one from the goods store in Mellowbrook and Copperpot or from the traveling merchant in Homesteads and Poppy Hill. Once gifted, a spin the wheel minigame will appear and you have to land on the stork for 1 baby or 2 storks for twins if you have high virility. If you land on anything else, it will increase or decrease your friendship points with your spouse depending on the icon. You can do this multiple times at any time. You can also increase your chances for babies by eating food that increases virility, giving food to your spouse that increases virility, and giving a 4-star offering to the goddess Naida on Druida Day. If you succeeded to land on a stork, your baby will be delivered in 1 week. The second way is to adopt a child at the shoe for 500 brass. You will be given 3 options to choose from. Once you have chosen, you will bring your new child to your home. And that's how to go on dates, get married, and have children in Kynseed. What do you think of the romance feature in this game? If you also have tips you'd like to share, leave a comment below. I'd love to learn more. My name's Sasha and thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe and you can check out another Kynseed guide here. Bye!